On this beautiful Monday. Yes, ma'am. On this beautiful dog, I hear myself too, so I know I can. Yes, ma'am. You heard that?
What?
No, I said I could hear myself.
Oh, okay. I was trying to see if it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That's good. Let me make sure I'm on mute.
We ready? I mean, it's a beautiful day today. It is a beautiful, beautiful day today.
I'm gonna take off after this.
The devil is a lie. Ain't no more vacations to 2024.
Oh God, no. You're going on one next week.
Say what?
You're going on one next week.
I sure am.
Yeah, you need it. You deserve it. You and mom. Oh, let me close this shit. Here I come.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. If you're coming on, I want you to hit that like button. Please hit that share button. Tag Lolly Dolly, everybody, and let them know Prophet Ramon, the Ramon Preston Show, the squad. We alive right here from the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta today. Please hit the like button, hit the share button, and drop the name of the city that you are watching from. Please do all of us on the World Wide Web a great favor today. Drop the name of the city that you are watching us from, and be sure to hit the like button, hit the share button, and tag somebody. Let them know that we're live, and today is going to be an amazing, amazing discussion. I have a lot of personal and sentimental things that I want to talk about today, even though I'm going to be giving y'all some game. So please do me a favor and hit that like button, hit that share button, and tag somebody. Lolly Dolly, everybody. Let them know Prophet Ramon and the Ramon Preston Show. We are live. Today is Monday, May the 17th? And wow, we had an amazing weekend. So I got a lot that I want to talk about today. What'd you say? I got a lot that I want to talk about today. I want to talk a little bit about the weekend we had. I want to talk a little bit about our first business coaching mastermind of 2021 that we just hosted this past Saturday. I want to talk a little bit about certain personal and sentimental things that have taken place this weekend just with me. And I want to talk about things that you can do beginning today that can change and transform your entire life. So if you're interested in changing and transforming your entire life, I want you to stick around for a few minutes while we get into a lot of these detailed discussions. But please, before we kick off, hit the like button, hit the share button. That's very important, just for the purpose of all these algorithms on social media, because these social media platforms are set up in a way that when you like videos or posts, when you share them, when you tag people on them, even if they feel like you're getting on their nerves, those algorithms somehow have a way of pushing that content or those pages that you're liking and tagging and sharing to the top of our news feeds so people can see the Ramon Preston Show. I mean, it just makes sense. We want everybody to watch the show. So we need your love, we need your prayers, but we also need your participation. Drop the name of the city that you are representing as well. Wherever you're watching from, whatever city you represent, please drop the name of the city in the comments. I want to give a few shout outs very quickly. But before I do, before I get into any of the shout outs, any of the details, let me begin by saying welcome to the Ramon Preston Show. I am your host, Ramon Preston, and every Monday through Friday at 12 o'clock noon, we come to you through this platform to share with you information that is strategically, specifically designed to help you start, structure, and scale your businesses, your ministries, your income streams, your wealth building dreams, or maybe you're one like me, all of the above. And so all of this information that we share with you Monday through Friday on the Ramon Preston Show, is information that is a direct extension from our organizational enterprise, whether it's through our consulting group, our coaching program, our online university. All of this information is specifically and strategically designed to help you accomplish those things. That is, to start, structure, and scale whatever it is that you're endeavoring to do. It's a part of our apostolic prophetic assignment. It's a part of my calling as a prophet to help God's people get to their prophesied place. So now that we've established that, you know who I am. I know at least where you are because you've dropped the name of the city that you're watching from in the comments. Let me begin on this beautiful Monday, because y'all know Monday is my favorite day. I love life every day, but I love Mondays. I can hardly wait to get up on Monday morning and beat the sun up and get my day started and get my first wins. And so the first line of discussion, if you will, is I want to give a shout out to my beautiful wife, my personal assistant, my team, the people who work with our company on a daily basis. We have some in-house and we have some that are not in-house, but they're directly connected to my company. And I want to give a shout out to all of you. Trustworthy, my sisters, Siobhan and Tony at Trustworthy, the digital marketing firm, and Armani Keys. Is it Armani Keys or Armani Creation? I always get her holding company wrong. AK Consulting. How about that?
She'll let you know.
AK Consulting. Just drop it in the comments. I know I slaughter your name every time I mention it. Armani Creations, I think. It's Armani Creations Consultant. AK Consulting. She's our marketing consultant. I want to give a shout out to my spiritual daughter, Toretta Lynette Enterprises, Toretta Lynette Consulting. She's also the CEO of We Connect Atlanta, and soon to be We Connect in other cities, at least major cities around the U.S. She is our personal business concierge. Her core competency is to provide concierge services to business owners like me, to companies like ours. She does a tremendous job. I want to give a shout out to her. I want to give a shout out to my older sister, Kelly, JBC Enterprises. That's who she represents. JBC Enterprises, my brother-in-law, HQ3 Enterprises, because they have helped make a lot of what we're doing here possible. I got to give my son a shout out, Lamone. He's still hanging on by the thread, by the skin of his teeth, by a thread, right? My content creator, cameraman, I love you too. But I want to give a shout out to all of the people that are in close proximity who show up regularly, either in this office or on some virtual platform or some conference call on a regular basis throughout the week. All of the names that I just mentioned helped make our first business coaching mastermind a success this past Saturday. It was absolutely amazing. And as I mentioned earlier, personally, it was overwhelming for me because there was such a sentimental moment of manifestation that I saw in that business coaching mastermind. Now, you all that know me may have heard me say this thousands of times, and so I guess it means nothing for me to say it again, other than for the people who've never heard me say it. But for my wife and I to have been married 18 years like we have, and to have been full-time entrepreneurs the entire time. My wife created that platform for me to be free to move into full-time entrepreneurship when we got married. My wife supported my dreams, my visions, and she made it her priority to push me and to give me that freedom and flexibility. Initially, I didn't have anything but a vision, but a dream, and she helped support that. And so for the last 18 years, we have worked diligently and consistently in obedience to God, but also in right standing with ourselves and with other people, to have integrity as entrepreneurs and business owners. And so for the last 18 years, we have successfully navigated through a lot of ups and downs in our entrepreneurial journey, as well as simultaneously building a solid, sustainable church and ministry. And so we've been able to accomplish both. But just recently, I'm talking about within the last few months, we're in May of 2021. We didn't introduce our coaching program until October, or I think it was October, November. So it's been like 7 months, no more than 8 months since we introduced our first coaching program, which was a 90-day coaching program. That was back in October, I think, of 2020, last year. We just introduced it.
Yeah.
We introduced our blueprint game plan in August. We started reaching out to people that were in our ecosystem in August and September. And then by October, sometime in October, November, we introduced the 90-day coaching program. Because I remember introducing it one night while we were doing a blueprint Zoom. We were doing some type of a webinar. Yep, we were doing a webinar. I'm bringing this up and I'm making a short story long because there's just a lot of meat in this. If you read the description of today's show, the description is the biggest bet I ever made. The biggest bet I ever made. So I'm just kind of taking the long way home to segue into what the topic of today's show is about. But 7 or 8 months ago, when we decided to introduce this business coaching program, it was a 90-day coaching program. My wife and my personal assistant, I got to give them the credit. They talked me into doing it. I really didn't want to do it because as a business consultant, I was more comfortable with the nuts and bolts of starting and structuring businesses. I was more comfortable getting into the grit and the grind and basically getting under the hood of what a person wants to do or what somebody wants to achieve financially or in their business economically, and figuring out what tools they needed, what resources, what systems, what structures, what processes they need, and then flesh it all out, put it together, and give them a game plan. But it was my wife and my personal assistant who really saw that potential and said, you really need to be coaching people. You're an amazing consultant, but if you can put some of that into a program where you can personally touch people and just work with people, you are a prophet, you have been in ministry for 20 years, like there's no way you shouldn't be running this concurrently with a personal coaching program. And so I said, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I obliged. I mean, really like reluctantly. And most of the time, some of y'all know this, it's those things that you don't really wanna do that when you end up doing it, you realize, oh man, where was I? Where was I at? How did I get here? What was I thinking, right? And so I said, okay, here's what I'm gonna do, y'all. So y'all leave me alone. I'm going to launch a 90-day coaching program. I'm going to do one 90-day coaching program, and I'm going to charge $5,000 for it. But I'm going to give whoever joins it everything I got in 90 days. The first night I introduced it, isn't that correct? Because I introduced it that night on the webinar. Yeah. We were doing a webinar for our blueprint purchasers, people who are a part of our virtual program, and I introduced it, and during the webinar somebody literally went to our platform, signed up for the 90-day coaching program, came back on and said, guess what, I just signed up. And I was like, what? And so that began this whole journey within the last 8 months. So a few months into it, a few coaching clients into it, on the 90-day coaching program, I get this bright idea. So now all of a sudden, I'm coming up with ideas for coaching. So I come to my team and I tell them, you know what I want to do? I want to do something stupid. I just want to do something crazy. I want to take my 90-day coaching program and I want to give it away for the same price, but not for 90 days. I want to give 4 90-day coaching programs away. I want to give it away for a year. And I want to put this whole program together. I'm going to take a whole year and I'm going to just work with whoever. I want to take somebody from 0 to 6 figures in 1 calendar year, especially the perfect person who's willing to follow everything that I give to them. And so that's what we did. I'm bringing all this up because just this past Saturday, we hosted our first business coaching mastermind. We launched this 1-year business coaching program about 6 weeks ago, but for the last 6 weeks, we've been onboarding clients into this 1-year coaching program. Excuse me. We've been assessing all of them that we've onboarded. We've been hosting one-on-one coaching sessions initially with all of the ones that we brought on. And here this past Saturday, I started counting. I realized we got over 30 people in person and on Zoom. And some people that's a part of our coaching program wasn't even able to make it this past Saturday. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, because you made the decision to open this up and to help a group of people who really want to start and structure and scale their businesses and their finances the right way, look at the results. And then what topped it off, here's what topped it off. My personal assistant had a list of a few people that she was going to introduce during the mastermind to share some testimonies and some success stories. I made sure that a couple of the people that were giving their success stories wasn't family. They wasn't spiritual daughters that been in my ministry or spiritual sons that's been connected to my ministry or people that know me personally. I wanted to make sure these were total strangers, people who didn't know me from Adam's aunt, who only met me from the internet, from seeing me on a virtual platform or from some social media site. And to hear those testimonies, I mean, it almost brought me to tears. One young lady sitting in there, she's got 2 kids with her, and she's telling her story, how she started a business, it flopped, it failed, she gave up, she was discouraged. She found the strength somehow to get back in the game and say, I gotta figure this out. I got a child, a newborn baby now. I'm gonna have to take care of this child and I got to figure it out. She starts browsing the internet. She's just telling this story. She's like, I don't even know this guy, but I start browsing the internet. I'm listening to certain gurus and internet moguls, but I'm hearing them, but I'm not resonating with them. And then she say she's Googling and YouTubing, and then she runs across Prophet Ramon Preston and she starts listening to me, and all of a sudden this connection is made. She not only did she sign up, did she purchase the blueprint first and then call back? Yeah, she was like, okay, the coaching is too much for her at the time. She was like, I don't know about that coaching. I'll purchase his blueprint. She purchases it. She starts the process of learning and developing her business to do her holding company. And she gets to a point soon after that, she's like, you know what? I need coaching. She's like, I need that coaching. He keep talking about that coaching. And so I guess one of the shows, I'm on there just banging out. And I'm like, you better call today. This could be your day. And she said she called, reached out, talked to my personal assistant, explained to my personal assistant what her situation was. My personal assistant was like, she's a prophetess. She flow with me. She got my mantle. She know exactly how I operate. She asked her to hold for a minute, come back on and say, we're going to make this thing work for you, girl. We're going to lock you in, put you in this program. And not only that, she has her first session, and literally within a couple days of her getting her first session, she restructures her whole business model. And I'm telling you, that thing is cold. It impressed me to think that I was the one that helped facilitate it, giving her the consultation, but just to see how she took it and just ran with it so quick. And then she already has her first client locked in, a big ticket client. I'm talking about, come on, somebody. That alone was like a game changer for me. And then we have 3 other young ladies that testified this past Saturday. And literally, they was talking about how they met me online, started following me from some of the lives that I was doing back in 2020. And I gave them a consultation, and they accepted the consultation. This was over the phone. I remember the consultation that I gave them over the phone. It was like a whole session over the phone. We took about maybe an hour, and we fleshed some strategies out. They told me what they were trying to do. I gave them some tips, some strategies, and showed them how they needed to restructure and represent and even repackage what they were doing. And they sat in that mastermind just this past Saturday talking about how, because they listened and they did everything I told them to do, they just recently locked in a 6-figure contract. All 3 of them are full-time on salary because they got the money now to do it. They got 6-figure contracts to do it. And how this has changed their lives, which, by the way, they were here in Buckhead, Atlanta Saturday because they flew from St. Louis, Missouri. They flew here. That's how important it was for them. So I'm just overwhelmed and amazed at what God has done, but what he's continuing to do. And it all goes back to the title of this show. It all goes back to the title of this show. Like, I don't have this whole script today because this is personal for me. I've already put some posts out sharing how 2 years ago, when I resigned as a pastor and I felt the Lord was telling me to not leave the ministry and not to necessarily walk away from the pulpit, but to just move in front of the pulpit and invade the marketplace, and how he gave me the revelation of starting my own university, and by shifting my position and not just being a minister in the church, but being a minister in the marketplace, and how 2 years later we have built $1 million company and soon to be multi-million-dollar company. And I mean, literally, we've got some opportunities that are just sitting before us right now that could net us 7 or 8 figures just because of a decision that I made to do what? A decision that I made to do what? A decision that I made to do what? To bet on myself. This is the biggest bet that I've ever made. The biggest bet that I've ever made. Now, I ain't necessarily a gambler now. If I'm gambling, I ain't talking about like casino gambling. I ain't talking about slot machine gambling. I ain't talking about lotto gambling. If there's any gambler in me, I ain't talking about shooting dice or playing tunk or playing spade for a couple dollars. I ain't betting on no football game or no basketball game. When I say a gambler, I'm talking about I am willing to bet on me, because there are certain things that I believe God has placed inside of me, like he has in all of us, that if we are willing to tap into those things and bring those things to the surface of our lives and utilize them on a daily basis, we will have that same ability and capacity to bet on ourselves. And so I have to say, hands down, bar none, no caps, the biggest bet that I've ever made was the bet that I made on myself. The bet that I made on myself. I want you to drop that in the comments if you're listening to me. I want you to drop in the comments, I'm betting on me. Drop that in the comments, I'm betting on me. And I really want to work with that for a few minutes. I got some things that I'm going to share with you. I got some tips that I'm going to give you and some really good pointers. But I want you to put that in the comments. I'm betting on me. I'm betting on me. Because if there is something inside of you that makes you feel uncomfortable today about betting on yourself, I want us to address that. Because there's absolutely, positively no reason why you should not be willing and able, with the ability and the capacity, to bet on yourself. If for some reason you are unable, unwilling, not ready, uncomfortable, apprehensive about betting on yourself, it's not because of things that you don't have. It's only because of things that you have not yet to tap into and bring to the surface of your life. We've got to bring those things to the surface of our lives. How do you know that, Ramon? Well, I have a lot of reasons that I could give you on why I know that. Let me start naming a few. Because I don't have a formal education. I had someone tell me yesterday, it was such an amazing compliment and it humbled me, but they said they were sitting in the Mastermind just this past Saturday, like they have on many occasions when I've hosted Masterminds and financial classes and even ministry classes. They've sat and listened to me for years when I preached several times a week. They've been a part of workshops and seminars and revivals and conferences. They've seen it all. Deliverance services, prophetic training courses. They have sat and listened to me for years. And they said to me yesterday that they were listening to me Saturday thinking to themselves, if they did not know me personally, they would have sworn up and down. Now, they're a little ghetto, so they talk a little different, but they was like, I swore up and down, you went to Harvard. But what people who don't know me may not understand, and I'm bringing this up just in case you don't know me and you need to understand, is that everything that I've been able to accomplish outside of the grace and mercy of God from a spiritual perspective. I want you to understand that. So everything we do, everything we become, everything we accomplish in life, we have to give God the glory. We understand that it is the grace of God, the mercy of God. It is because of the salvation of God that has been granted to me through the death, burial, and resurrection of my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Without a doubt, it is all because of that. But if you start peeling back some of those layers, salvation alone is not going to necessarily guarantee certain levels of success. That doesn't dilute the authenticity or the potency of our salvation. That just means we can better understand that there are people who are saved and are sick. There are people who are saved and are depressed. There are people who are saved and are broke. There are people who are saved and are homeless. There are people who are saved and who are still subjected to addictions and issues and situations and circumstances. So just because they're saved and they're still subjected to these things, does that dilute the authenticity or the potency of their salvation? Or does that just highlight the fact that there may be other layers of human participation that's actually needed? If that's the case, then it further validates and substantiates my point that from a human level, what I've been able to accomplish, is tied into the spiritual things, but it's also directly associated to natural things. Meaning that it doesn't matter if you have a background of an amazing pedigree. It doesn't matter if you've never been an entrepreneur. It don't matter if nobody handed you anything from your family tree. It don't matter if you got an education. It don't matter if you got a GED like me. It don't matter if your background as a criminal is long as 75 like mine is. It don't matter because you've been addicted to drugs like I once was. It don't matter if your parents didn't raise you like my parents who were crackheads didn't raise me. They gave me to my grandma to raise me. It doesn't matter if you grew up in the hood with no opportunities like I did. Those things are real, but they don't necessarily determine the outcome of your life when you're willing to tap into the things that are important to tap into so that you can bet on you. I'm betting on me. And that's one of the biggest bets I made in my life. I know I'm preaching today, y'all, but I feel a little preachy today. I really do feel a little preachy today. I saw a study just the other day that said almost 8 out of 10 millionaires that exist today, almost 8 out of 10, think about that, 8 out of 10 millionaires, which probably means 9, okay, if it's 80-something%, it's almost 9, right? So we're talking about almost 8 to 9 out of 10 millionaires that exist today. They are self-made millionaires, meaning that they did not get their money from their parents, meaning that they didn't hit the lottery, meaning that they didn't have this lucky break in life, meaning that some celebrity didn't open a door for them, meaning that they didn't have this Oprah effect or Shark Tank effect. So 8 or 9 out of 10 millionaires, people who are financially free today, people who are building wealth, people who have solidified, validated, and locked in stone what their legacy is going to be. 8 or 9 out of 10 of those individuals that we might consider to be rich or millionaires or wealthy people got it from the muscle. All they did was tap into some things that were in them and build on those things with other additions, and they created something that anybody can create. Because see, there was a time I really wanted that, but I deep down in my heart didn't believe I could actually do it. Some of y'all know what I mean? Like I always wanted to be rich. I always wanted to be wealthy. We used to watch a cartoon coming up. I think it might have been in the 80s. It was a cartoon called Richie Rich. I think it was. It might have been a real show, but I know it was a cartoon. And back in the 80s, there was a song that came out. I talk about that a lot. I want to be rich. You know, I want money, lots and lots of money. Woo! Y'all remember that song? I used to hear that song and think to myself, man, I want to be rich. I want to be rich. Oh my God. Yeah, I want to be rich. And only to realize that wanting to be rich and actually doing what is necessary with the right information and tools to guarantee being rich was 2 different things. Mm-hmm. So for years I wanted it. How many of y'all remember that cartoon Richie Rich? Was it a cartoon or a real show?
You told me, and I said I don't know nothing about that one.
It was a cartoon or a real show. Does anybody remember that? Does anybody remember the show or the cartoon Richie Rich? There was a cartoon or a show.
I don't remember.
But anyway, I wanted to be free financially. I wanted to be able to do what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a millionaire. I wanted to be wealthy. I wanted all those things, but so many times in my adult life, I'm talking about in my saved adult life, in my Holy Ghost filled adult life, in my speaking in tongues and prophesying and casting out devils adult life, I wanted that, but I really, really deep down inside didn't believe or was not 100% convinced that I would be able to pull it off. And the reason why, or at least one of the reasons why I didn't believe or I was unable to grasp the fact that I could pull it off was because of what I, say what now?
They say silver spoons.
Yeah, silver spoons, okay.
The show.
Wow, who is that on YouTube? Yeah, that's it.
Silver spoons.
Wow, somebody
Somebody said it was a movie too. Tony said it was a movie also, but he said it was Silver Spoons was the show.
Wow, silver spoons. I knew it was something.
He had the train in his house.
He had the train in his house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we just fantasized about that stuff.
Yeah.
And again, once I got saved and started growing in God, I realized real quick that some of this stuff God wasn't going to do for me. I realized some of this stuff God was going to do through me. Mm-hmm. which means I needed to tap into what he had already given to me spiritually. I had to tap into what he had already given to me internally, right? And then once I tapped into those things, I had to figure out how to pull those things to the top, to the surface of my life, so that every day I wake up, I can see those things. And then as I see those things and build a muscle to use those spiritual, internal, invisible, intangible things, I could then complement those things with natural, tangible things that I need to practically do to put effort behind what I believe was already in me. Because greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Yes, you are the head and not the tail. Yes, you are above and not beneath. Yes, you are the lender and not the borrower. Yes, John says, I wish above all things that you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. Yes, Jesus said in the book of John 10:10, the thief comes but to steal, kill, and destroy, but I come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. Yes, Deuteronomy 8:18 says God gives you the power to get wealth. Yes, in Deuteronomy 28 verses 1 through 14, the Lord speaks emphatically about what it is that he's going to continue to bestow upon you, being blessed in the city, blessed in the field, blessed in the works of your hand. Yes, in the book of Joel chapter 2 verse 28, God reveals to you that he's going to restore the years that the cankerworm, palmerworm, caterpillar and locust has stolen. All of these are divine revelations, spiritual truths, things that reflect certain intangible assets that he's deposited inside of us. But those things, once they come to the surface of your life, have to be complemented with certain tangibles, certain efforts, certain practices, certain principles that you can live by and with on a day-to-day basis in order for you to get there. Otherwise, you're not going to be willing to bet on yourself. You're not going to have the ability and the capacity to bet on yourself. One of the reasons why I'm able to bet on myself the way I am able to bet on myself is because of what I have brought into my life to complement what God had already put in my spirit. So for those of you that want to bet on yourself, and we're not talking about like these intangible things, I'm going to show you some of them. But when we're talking about betting on yourself, I want you to understand betting on yourself means you have certain natural things. You got certain tools, certain resources, certain relationships, certain opportunities, certain things at your disposal that you know without a shadow of a doubt you got. So let's say, for example, before I get into these details, let's say, for an example, if you need to go somewhere that requires a car, and you got a car outside with gas, runs well, and you got the keys in your hand. If somebody asks you at that moment, are you able and even willing to get to where only a car can take you? Your confidence level is through the roof. Why is your confidence level through the roof? Not because you just believe God gonna provide a way. Not just because you got scriptures to quote that you're gonna get to where you need to go. You have the confidence to the extent that if somebody was to say, I know you got a car outside. I know you got keys in your hands. I know you are able and willing to go get in that car and get to where only a car can take you. But here's what I want to do. I want to bet you that you're not able to do it. You'll be like, bet how much? I'll bet you $1 million you're unable to do it. I bet you $1 million you can't do it. You'll be looking at them saying, what? What you mean I'm not able to do it? I got keys. Right. Dodo. I got a car outside. Goofy. What you mean you gonna bet me $1 million that I can't do it? It's not gonna make sense to you because you can't fathom the fact that they see you with keys, they know you got a car, you talking to them, and they finna bet you $1 million as if you can't go get in the car. You're willing to bet on yourself, not just because you believe God is gonna make a way, not just because you hope the Holy Ghost come through for you. You are willing to bet on yourself because God has already given you what? A car. He's already given you what? keys to the car, and the ability and the capacity to comprehend that you can bet on yourself knowing that you can go get in that car. This is the same way with business. It's the same way with your finances. It's the same way with you getting out of debt. It's the same way with you having a 750 credit score or whatever the credit score you want. It's the same way with you being able to walk in a bank and tell a bank, this is what I want, this is what I need, let's make it happen. It's the same way with you being financially free. It's the same way with you putting your notice in on that job saying, I ain't working for y'all no more because my business is booming. It's the same way. And I want to get you to a place to where you are able and willing, you have the ability and the capacity to bet on you. I'm telling you, the biggest bet I made in my life was the bet I made on myself. But guess what? I lost that bet many times before I got the right information, before I had the right efforts, before I got disciplined, before I educated myself, before I trained myself, before I made the right connections to the right people, before I disconnected from the wrong people, before I tapped into certain things that God put inside of me to give me the ability and the capacity to get up every day and learn, get up every day and grow, get up every day and educate, get up every day and train, get up every day and try, get up every day and give every day my best. Those have to happen first. So if you're struggling with finances, if you're struggling with business, if you're struggling with, getting your products and services going, getting your entrepreneurial endeavors going, if you're struggling on your job and you're ready to be free, if you're struggling with credit issues and debt issues, if you're just struggling in those economic areas, before we address those things, let's peel back and deal with the internal things, if that makes sense. I think it does. So what are some things that I need, Ramon, in order to bet on me? I hope you're ready for this, because I'm gonna give you some natural things, but I'm gonna give you some spiritual things too. I'm gonna give you some intangibles and tangibles. How about that? Let's word it that way for some of y'all that might not be as super saved as some others, okay? I'm gonna give you some intangibles and tangibles that you need in order to be able to bet on you. Here's the first, we're gonna go through the intangibles first, all right? Y'all ready? The first intangible, oh my God, this is gonna be good. The first intangible is obedience. Somebody put that in the comments. Obedience. That's you. Put that in the comments. The first thing that you need in order to be able to bet on yourself is obedience. You funny. You got that? The first thing is obedience. Now, when I say obedience, it's an intangible, but it's a spiritual dynamic. It's a spiritual dynamic. Okay, so Prophet Ramon, what am I supposed to be obedient to when it comes to my business? When it comes to my finances? Here's what you have to be obedient to. Oh my God, this is a big, I'm gonna make a statement that's getting ready to blow your mind. Are you ready for this? You have to be obedient, watch this, to proceed if you want to end up succeeding. See, let me put it this way. Your ability to succeed is tied to your obedience to proceed. See, most people never succeed. You know why? Because they're not obedient to proceed. Because see, here's what people do. People sit back and wait for God to show them what to do. Well, I'm going to just wait because I don't know what God wants me to do. You're being disobedient. Because delayed obedience is disobedience. Not doing anything is by default disobedience. So a lot of people disobey the will of God for their lives the purpose of God for their lives by default because they do nothing, waiting for God to show them what they need to do. You see what I'm saying? So if you can't do nothing else today, guess what? You can actually get up physically and walk forward. You can get up physically and walk forward. You can actually move forward. There is actually something you can do today that can be progressive in nature. What one thing can you do today that you didn't do yesterday that at some point can make your life better, if not today? Let me give an example. If you ain't got no money and you can't keep no money, but you got at least 50 cents, what is one thing I can do today that can at some point change my life financially tomorrow? You know what I can do? Save the 50 cents rather than spend it. Or I'm going to tell you something even better. If you ain't got no money because all your money is spent, I'm giving you some real good examples. But let's say you got 3 or 4 bills that you're paying. Let's just say hypothetically you paying a cable bill at your house for $100. And you are paying 2 internet bills where you got internet on your phone and internet at your house for $30. And then you're paying Netflix and Amazon Prime, and you got a couple subscriptions that you pay for. Let's just say you can find bills that are really not like make or break bills, life or death bills, that add up to $200 a month. Think about this. You can cancel all of them today and next month save $200. That's a progressive move forward. So you don't see the money this month, but in June you will. Or maybe they're going to go ahead and take June out. In July you will. So now I can already start planning that. Wow, starting in July, I'm going to have an extra $200 a month. You know why? Because I'm not going to be watching TV anyway. I'm too broke to watch TV. I'm too broke to watch Netflix. I'm too broke to play on the internet. I'd rather go to Starbucks every day and use their internet. I'd rather go sit in front of McDonald's every day in the parking lot and use their internet rather than stay home watching TV, watching movies on Netflix, getting stuff mailed to me from Amazon for free in 2 days, and I'm broke. So that means my obedience has to be tied to my progression. So if you want to succeed, your ability to succeed is directly tied to your obedience to proceed. Oh my God. Ooh, woo. So the first thing you need, if you want to have the ability to bet on yourself, is what? You need obedience. You need obedience. Now here's the tangible side of obedience. I'm going to give you the intangible and the tangible. The tangible side to obedience is occupation. I talked about that Saturday. The tangible side to obedience is occupation. You cannot obey God if you're not occupying some natural space. Oh, I'm preaching today. Y'all got me preachy this Monday. Did you hear what I said? You cannot be obedient. And I'm not talking about, oh, the Lord told me to do this. Oh, God gave me a word through the prophet. No, you have to be obedient to the God-given laws that govern your life for success. God expects for you to succeed. God expects for you to proceed. God expects for you to win. He expects for you to walk in victory. Why would the Bible say we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us? Why would the Bible say we're the head and not the tail? Why would the Bible say we are above and not beneath if the Bible didn't mean it, or the person who wrote the Bible didn't mean what God meant them to write for us to understand? So that means God's intention, outside of you getting a prophetic word from Prophet Ramon, God's intention, outside of for you having this aha moment, God's intention just in the divine nature of your humanity requires you to move forward. So that means every day I have to do things in areas of my life that are most important. I've got to do things in those areas that are progressive. I got to make a better decision today to see a change in a better situation in my life tomorrow. So that means my obedience is the intangible, but occupation is the tangible. So in order for me to obey God, in order for me to obey the success that God has entrusted to me, right? I can't stay home today and say, I'm not going to go to the office today, but I do believe that God wants me to be successful. I'm going to stay home and watch TV all day and goof off, but I know God wants my business to succeed. I prove that by taking what I believe is a part of my obedience to succeed, because God entrusted me with business success. And guess what I got to do? I got to show up. I got to occupy this studio. I got to occupy my office. I got to occupy the phone. I got to occupy relationships. I got to occupy my team. I am occupying because obedience needs to be complemented with occupation. I just said that Saturday that faith without works is dead. Faith without works is dead. The word works is translated occupation. So if you got faith, which is a form or an extension of what your obedience should look like, hearing from God and then obeying God, okay? If you have faith, your faith should convert into obedience through occupation. Whew. Man, I'm preaching today, y'all. This ain't a business class. This is a church service today. We having church today, y'all. Ooh, we having church today. So obedience equals occupation. Got it? All right, here's the second thing you gotta have in order to bet on yourself. You ready for it? The second intangible is commitment. You need commitment. You need commitment. You need commitment. You need commitment. If you're saying to yourself, man, I can't move forward, you're not committed. You're not committed. And guess what? You may be committed, but you might be committed to the wrong things. So now your commitment has to be to the things that keep you moving forward. I mean, the devil is committed. Demons are committed. Evil people are committed. Right? Drug addicts are committed. Thugs are committed. Gangsters are committed. Animals are committed. But they're committed to things that don't necessarily net you the best results. So commitment is not just this idea of being dedicated. Oh, I'm a committed person. Yeah, but you just keep committing to the wrong things. Well, I don't have a problem committing. When I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. The problem is when you're saying certain things and you're meaning certain things, what you say and what you mean are not the right things that get you to freedom. So your commitment has to be, listen to this, exclusive to what is designed to keep you successful. So I'm committed to my business. That means I've got to do something for my business every day. I got to learn from my business. I got to grow from my business. I got to introduce people to my business. I got to develop my business. I got to expand my business. I got to take time out for my business. I'm committed to financial freedom. Well, I got to do stuff that reflects that every day. If I'm doing things every day that don't reflect me being financially free, this is why I'm not financially free, because I'm not committed. Because my commitment may be there, but it's just two other things that are not getting me to where I want to be. Commitment. That's the intangible. Here's the tangible side of commitment. I hope you're ready for this. Consistency. Consistency is practical. See, I'm committed to my business. If I didn't show up in this office today and I called my wife, I called my personal assistant and said, I am not going to show up to the office today. But this does not reflect my commitment. I'm still committed to my business, right? Day one, you'll believe that. But if I do that for like 3 months straight, I call you 90 days from now and be like, I'm not showing up to the office, but I'm still committed. You know why you're not going to believe it? Because my commitment was not complemented with my consistency. If I show up once a week here, you're like, okay, you're committed. At least I see the signs, but your consistency is saying something else. Because you only show up here every once in a while. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you understand that, I really want you to dig deep into your heart, but I also want you to put something in your hand. Dig deep into your heart to find commitment, because God put that commitment in you. You're a committed person. You just got to commit to the right things. And once you tap into that commitment, attach it to or complement it with consistency. My consistency proves my commitment, not my commitment. Oh my God. I'm really giving y'all game today. Did you hear what I just said? I said my consistency proves my commitment, not my commitment. Your commitment doesn't speak for itself. Your consistency speaks up for your commitment. You showing up every day speaks volumes to your commitment. Because you ain't even got to tell me you committed. Every day you show up, I know you're committed. I know you're committed. I know you're committed. I know you're committed because you're showing up. Everybody that showed up this past Saturday to the Mastermind, guess what they showed me? They were committed. You know why? Because they were consistent in showing up. Keeping it 100. All right. I know some of y'all did show up virtually too, if you're watching this. Here's the third thing. The third thing you need in order to have the ability to bet on yourself is, this is a big one, y'all. Whew. Self-awareness. 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 Please write that down. Self-awareness. Write that down. I'm giving you some time because this is really good. Self-awareness. Self-awareness. What do you mean by self-awareness? Awareness of self, right? See, I can be real when I communicate with people, and I can be honest with myself when I deal with a certain situation or circumstance because of the level of self-awareness that I have. In other words, I don't just know my strengths and weaknesses, but I also know my potential. You get that? See, I am aware. See, oh my God. I hope y'all really, this is like a master class today. See, self-awareness allows me not just to know my strengths and weaknesses, because that's like one layer of self-awareness. But I think a deeper level of self-awareness helps you to know your potential. So a lot of times I'm hard on myself, even in success, because I am so aware of my potential. I know where I come from. I know how far I've come. I know where I am, and I know what I'm actually doing where I am. But that awareness alone is not what keeps me succeeding. In other words, my wins yesterday Or my wins today are not going to be the wind that keeps me moving forward. You just missed it. That was a bar. I said my wins yesterday, W-I-N-S, and my wins today, W-I-N-S, they do not produce enough wind, W-I-N-D, to keep me moving forward. So I have to be equally, if not more, self-aware of my future potential. So no matter how good things get, no matter how many wins I get, I still need the wind of my potential and my awareness of that potential to whoosh, blow me into my tomorrow. I know what I'm supposed to do. That's why I was telling them Saturday. When I hear a jet, I can hear a jet miles away. When I hear one flying over, guess what I do? Whew, I get up. I'm like, oh my God. I'm looking. I'm like, man, that's supposed to be me right there. That's what I do. Every time I hear a jet, I'm like, oh my God. I'm awestruck. I am awestruck. Literally, y'all, I am awestruck. I'm looking like, oh my God. And you know what I be thinking? As good as I'm doing, I should be on mine. That's potential. That's self-awareness. Now, it doesn't suffocate me to discourage me from going forward today. Because what I do, I snap out of it, I take my glasses back off, I sit down and get my behind to work. But I am self-aware enough to use that as fuel, as wind, to know I still got room to grow. I still got wiggle room. I ain't where I'm supposed to be. I know my potential. Oh my God. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Y'all got me preaching today. That's how good church was yesterday.
Yeah, it was.
Every service I went to. Here's the natural side to self-awareness. You ready for this? Oh my God. Consciousness. Oh my God. Man, I'm giving y'all game. Did you hear what I just said? I want y'all to write that down. Ooh, woo. The tangible side of self-awareness is consciousness. So that means you have to remain mindful every day, not just of where you've come from and how far you've come, but you should be conscious of how far you got to go and how many people actually need you to keep moving forward. Your children deserve you to be successful. Your grandkids deserve you, watch this, to cancel every subscription, to stop spending all your money on luxuries. Your grandkids deserve you to do that, at least for a season, till you get on your feet, till you get your business off the ground, till you get that bag, till you get out of debt, till your credit is up, till your money is long. Your great-grandkids deserve that. They deserve you not to be around here wearing all your money. They deserve that. They deserve that. They deserve that. For years, I know I be spending a little money on designer stuff now, but how many years did I go and I still wear the same suits. I got multiple, I always got to explain that. I sound like I'm wearing the same suit every day, right? Okay, so how do I need to word that? I have multiple suits of the same color.
That's it.
So I have like 20 black shirts. I have at least 10 suits, and they're all the same. I always got to explain that. Because I just like wearing the same clothes. Now I wear white shirts too. I probably got like 40 white shirts. It's my what? Signature. That's the signature suit, right? I just like wearing what I'm comfortable with. I ain't gonna hold y'all up. I wear what I want to wear. and I'm just comfortable wearing the same thing that feel good on me. It make me feel like I dress like I think. So when I think like I'm moving and shaking. So I have multiple of the same suits. I wear the same jeans, but they're not the same jeans. I got like 30 pair of the same jeans. I got the same shoes, but I buy 3 or 4 pair of the same shoes. So I just love the same thing. I just ordered 3 pair of shoes, the same color. Oh, these here that I got on.
Weird.
I just ordered 3 pair of these. Huh? No, they ain't that much. But yeah, I just ordered the same ones.
Yeah.
Here's why I'm bringing that up. You have to be conscious enough. You have to be conscious enough to know what your potential is. And you got to be willing to give up in your consciousness any luxuries until you satisfy your necessities. And your necessities as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, should be your baby, your business, your entrepreneurship, your desire to be financially free, to be self-employed, to be independent, to be able to do what you want to do, to be able to retire your spouse, your mama, daddy, your grandparents, your kids, or whoever it is, your siblings. You gotta be self-aware. You have to have a level of consciousness. In other words, you gotta be woke. You gotta be woke. Somebody's asking, what is the number to text? What is the number on Facebook? They're asking, what is the number to text? The number is 404-478-7213. 404-478-7213. Okay, it's going to be in the comments. If you want to text to join our coaching program, that would be the number to text. All right, 404-478-7213. So we got self-awareness. Here's the next one. Did I say empathy yet? No, empathy. Empathy is the next one. The next thing you need is empathy. By the way, if you have any questions, feel free to call me. You could dial the number today and call, and I'll answer your question. Or you could drop your question in the comments. So how many have I given y'all already? I gave you obedience, right? Mm-hmm. I gave you commitment. I gave you self-awareness. Now I'm giving you empathy. Mm-hmm. Empathy. That would be the 4th one, right? Mm-hmm. That would be the 4th one. Siobhan said I gave you 3. Okay, so the 4th one is empathy. Empathy. What is empathy? Man, this is so good. It's way past 1 o'clock and I'm still running my mouth. Don't I got an appointment? No? At 1? Okay, good. All right, so empathy, let me help you understand what empathy is. This is why you need it in order to bet on yourself. Empathy is not sympathy. Sympathy is when you just feel a certain kind of way about somebody because of what they're going through. You sympathize with them like, I feel you, boo. Yeah, dog, I got you on that, man. My heart go out to you. I hope everything all right. I'm going to be praying for you. That's sympathy. Empathy is when you actually feel like you're that person. You get it. You're there. Like when somebody tells me they've been addicted to drugs or they are addicted to drugs, hard drugs, I empathize with them because I used to be an addict. When people tell me they've been to jail, I empathize with them because I done been locked up several times. When people tell me they grew up in poverty and they really never had anything and they didn't get gifts for Christmas, not no real expensive gifts, and they just had it hard, it was a rough life, guess what? I have empathy for them because my life was that way. When people tell me their parents abandoned them and they really was raised by an auntie or uncle or grandparent, I empathize with them. If people say they were homeless and they never really had their own family or their own like ownership of something that belonged to them, I empathize with them. I have empathy because I done been through all that. I've been homeless. I've been a drug addict. I was a thug, a street hustler, a loser. I had nothing. I was lost, uneducated. barely got a GED because my teacher at the alternative ed school just begged me to get it. And she reminded me so much of my grandma who died, I just couldn't disappoint her, meaning that I got another person on my heart that I done disappointed again. That's the only reason why I got my GED after getting out of incarceration. So I empathize with people like that. But guess what? When it comes to business, when it comes to financial freedom, when it comes to being debt free, when it comes to getting your credit up and not ruining it and being able to take care of your family and not struggle and wonder where you're going to get money from, I've been there. This is why I provide so much value to people. This is why I provide coaching programs, consulting, sometimes free to people. I provide a whole blueprint on my university platform to teach you entrepreneurship, how to build wealth, how to create a real business and have a legacy. You know why? Because I empathize with you. I don't just sit back sympathizing. Oh, I know, I get you. No, I have empathy because I know how many times I gave up in my head. I know how hard it was for me to fight the temptation of just accepting that it's never going to happen for me. This is not for someone like me. It's for special people. But I fought that. And I know how hard it is for people to fight that. And I know how easy it is for you to give up because of the pressure that's on you. But guess what? I have empathy. This is why you need empathy. Because when you start empathizing, guess what? You're going to get your behind up every day and grind. You're gonna eat doo-doo for a season until you get on your feet. You're going to give up a whole lot of luxuries until you can have all of your luxuries. Basically, what you're going to do, you're going to pay the price now, like one of my mentors say, so you can pay any price later. That's what you're going to do. But you have to, sometimes you got to get you out of the way and you got to empathize with other people. One of the greatest gifts that God could have given me is the gift of empathy. Because a lot of times I do the things that I do, I don't really even do them for me. Because sometimes I want to give up. Sometimes I don't even know if I want it. But I have a family. I got so many people that I know need me and depend on me. And those moments of darkness and despair and discouragement, they the ones that lift me up. Just knowing that they need me. So I'm able to tap into that empathy and say, if you don't do it for you, do it for your grandbabies. Do it for your godchild. Do it for your grandma and mama who died never being able to do it for y'all. Do it for them. That's empathy. You need that empathy. You need that empathy. Here's what I want you to put with empathy. I want you to put communication with it. Because sometimes you need to start talking about this. You need to talk this thing out. Some of you just need to have a conversation. Like, you can't even imagine how many times, especially on this side of the pulpit, with what I do now as a apostolic prophetic leader in the marketplace, you probably can't even imagine how many times I sit down and talk to people about business, and the moment they start talking, they talk themselves out of depression. They talk themselves out of giving up. One of my spiritual daughters, I seen her put a video up. You gotta see it. She put one up, Tanja, on the daughter's place. Yeah. Oh my God. I listened to the video. Oh my God. Oh man, that video was like game changing.
Oh wow.
I'm gonna see if I can find her video. See if I can find her video. Her video was amazing.
You gonna try to find it?
I'm finna find her video. We just hanging out on here today.
Yeah, you're hanging out.
I am hanging out because I just love my people, and I wanna help my people. For those of you that are not a part of our coaching program, we just made an announcement this morning that we're going to be ending our 24-month payment plan offer. So for the last 4 weeks or so, 3 or 4 weeks, we've been offering our 1-year coaching program. and giving everyone an opportunity to join our coaching program with a 24-month payment plan. So we're going to be ending that 24-month payment plan today. Like literally before the day ends, the link and the offer will no longer be available on any of our platforms, even if you call in. So if you would like to be a part of our 1-year business coaching program because you know you need help in starting, structuring, and scaling your business, your ministry, your income streams, or wealth building dreams, or whatever it is that you have, that you need help on, I really want you to please reach out to us today. You could text the word coaching to 404-478-7213. I got her information behind me. This is one of my spiritual daughters. She's on our coaching program as well. Wow. She's on our coaching program as well. I just wanted to pull this up because 2 weeks ago, remember we were sitting in here? Yes. And this was probably her 8th coaching session. She done had so many coaching sessions. Mm-hmm. But here's the crazy part of it. I wonder if I can still, let me see if I can watch it again. It's not letting me. Yeah, it's not letting me, it's not letting me use the volume on my computer.
It's not? Can you use it on your phone?
Yeah, it might let me use it. But anyway, I wanted to show y'all that her company is T. Lynn Compositions. She's a consultant. She has a nonprofit organization called The Daughter's Place. But what got me was when I listened to her video she just posted up. She so eloquently articulated what her purpose in the marketplace is. And I'm thinking to myself, listening to it, 2 weeks ago, she was in here, with her little finger. I don't know about all that. We literally had to talk her through. Remember, I asked her a question. I was like, okay, well, let me get a blank piece of paper. I said, tell me what exactly do you do? And if I came to your program, and she started telling me, and I'm like, this is what a professional does. She was like, oh, wow. Her point was, this is what she testified Saturday. Mm-hmm. Her point was, I didn't see myself. Mm-hmm. I was too busy doing the work as a educator for almost 30 years. She's like, I never saw myself. Mm-hmm. I never took the time to get out of myself, basically gain a level of self-awareness as well as empathy to see who I am for other people. Shoo, man, that's deep. Can you see who you are for other people? That's when you know you got empathy. Okay, here's my last one, and I'm gone, y'all. My last one is perspective. You gotta have perspective if you're gonna be able to bet on yourself. Perspective is your capacity to see multiple things just looking at one thing. You got to see multiple things. This is one of the reasons why I can pay for anything I want or need for my self-development, for my business development, for my ministry development, for my family development, because of my perspective. So while one person looks at price, I see value. I can pay $100 for a book. I don't mind paying $100 for a book, because some people like, $100 for a book? And I'm thinking, for somebody to charge $100, it must be $1 million statement in there. It must be like 1 or 2 paragraphs that are game changers. I guarantee it. So I'm looking at that $1 million paragraph. I start reading books. That's how I read a book. Before I start a book, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know what chapter that one thing gonna be in, or what paragraph in that chapter. But if it's 130 pages, if it's 220 pages, if it's 70 pages, I'm like, one of these pages is gonna be a game changer for me. And I wait until I get it. And then when I get it, I finish the book and I'm like, got it. There it is right there. That's perspective. The tangible side of perspective is strategy. Because once you get perspective, guess what? You got to move on it. That's strategy. I got to take what I know now and I got to do something with it. That was for free, y'all. I got to go. The show is over with. I just showed you how you can bet on yourself. If you have reluctancy, apprehensions, or still an issue processing how you can definitively, confidently bet on yourself, you may need me and my team to come along the side of you to help you grow as a person so that you can get your business, your ministry, your income streams, and your wealth building dreams to that next level. If you want to be a part of our 1-year business coaching program, here's what you need to do, because we're getting ready to start pulling it back. I just told you this past Saturday, we had over 30 people participate. We've already exceeded the number of people we initially anticipated to join this 1-year business coaching program. So we've already satisfied our initial goal. Now it's just about us helping as many people as possible so that they can be a part of what is happening in this ecosystem, in this group of coaching clients for this 1-year journey that they're on. So today we're ending our 24-month payment plan option. We're giving you an opportunity to pay this 12-month coaching program in 24 months. That's a year after the program is over. We're just making it easy for you to get in. All right. Within the next few weeks, we're going to pull the 12-month offer off of the table. And probably by the end of June, which would be the end of this second quarter, once we're already 3 months into our launched 1-year business coaching program, we're going to revert it back to our signature program, which is a 90-day coaching program. We already have clients that are in our 90-day coaching program, by the way. There are people that are already in our 90-day coaching program. They paid the whole price to be a part of a 90-day coaching program because they're professionals, they're experts in what they do, and they don't necessarily need a year. 90 days is sufficient for them to get what they need from people like us and from a company like mine. But I knew this year would be very good for a lot of you who are just starting off. You're learning the entrepreneurial game. You're just learning how to build your business successfully. You're trying to get your finances in order, and you just need like this big conglomerate to be put together for you to have it all making sense. We're doing all that in this business coaching program. You want to be a part of it? Just text the word coaching to 404-478-7213. 404-478-7213. One more again, 404-478-7213. I love y'all. Have an amazing day. I gave y'all 22 extra minutes since I was late 3-4 days last week.